Hello you guys, this is Josh Vision, and this video is basically going to talk about two interviews that I pulled up over the weekend in regards to Michael Hirst's thoughts to basically what's going to happen in season 6, the final season of Vikings, what's happening with Ube, Bjorn, Lagda, Ivar, and Visick, and the whole thing with why he killed off, trying to forget, I'm trying to remember that guy's name. Oh, Magnus. Magnus the Forgetful. Magnus, as well as why he decided to end Vikings, shockingly at season 6, which probably when they could have gone on for at least another 3, 4 seasons, maybe 5, with the material they have and how good the show was and how popular it is. So basically, I'll just get straight to the point when it comes to why he decided to end the season at season 6. So Michael Hurt basically says that he felt that he did everything he could with the saga, that he told and wrote the story that he wanted to tell, that he ended on a great note, and that technically it hasn't been 6 seasons. He said because if we all remember, he said it usually was like 9 or 10 um, episodes per season. So he says technically it's 9 seasons if you go by that logic, and that at this point he's in negotiations with MGM about not really a spinoff but a sequel to the Viking series, but that he'll be basically one of the consultants, that he'll be there when they need him, but that he won't no longer be he won't be writing the series anymore. He'll just there'll be someone else writing the series. I believe Jeb Stewart, someone that wrote the Die Hard series, I believe. By the way, the two articles of the interviews are basically going to be in the description box once I'm done, with this video. So that's done. He talks about Magnus, but it's kind of brief. He basically says that he just kind of wrote Magnus as this tragic character. At first, he thought that Magnus, as he wrote, that he was gonna he was kind of adjoining with the character, and that he actually was going to make things a little bit more, make the character be a little bit more impactful. But as midway through writing the character, he sort of found him kind of hilarious, found him kind of tragic, that this guy has been trying to be Viking all this time, but it's really just not in him. And that even though he's more English, he was kind of thrown to the wolves by Aethelwulf in the royal court, due to being the son of Ragnar, mainly. So he just found to be, a very tragic character. In regards to Bjorn, he talks about how Bjorn is a better leader than Ivar, basically due to the fact that Bjorn is a nicer person and the fact that Bjorn isn't emotionally and physically crippled like Ivar is. But he does say that power is a very interesting thing to talk about on the show, which he's done for the past 6 seasons. He says that Ragnar struggled with it. Ivar clearly struggled with it, and it's going to be interesting to see how Bjorn's going to deal with it. He said because Bjorn's a smart guy, basically, but Bjorn's not like Ragnar and Ivar, in which he's naturally good at dealing with the social and the political aspects of the reign. But even though Bjorn does have a plan, though, Bjorn wants to expand trading and all that stuff, but he says that Bjorn's going to learn that just being a good person and a strong and great warrior, is basically the easy part when it comes to, basically child's play when it comes to ruling. When you're actually in charge and running crap. And he talks about how that there's a possibility that some of the decisions and choices that Bjorn makes will have a huge impact on him at some point during season 6. But he also says that Bjorn is going to end up truly being greater than Ragnar and an actual legit hero that lives up to the billing. So I'm interested to see how that goes, in season 6. How Bjorn really does become greater than Ragnar, but also what possible mistakes that he does that could possibly screw him over in season 6. In regards to Visick, he says that Visick, at some point in season 6, he will no longer be the tortured soul. He'll finally reach some type. Him and Ivar will finally reach some type of conclusion to why they're so basically. They have this strange connection and bond with each other, despite the fact that they absolutely detest each other. They'll finally figure out why. That, it's more than them. Because at first, he talks about how they thought that the reason why they were together in the first place, and why Visick would make kind of the illogical choice of jumping boat away from his favorite brother to Ivar is due to the fact that the gods probably had planned for them to kill each other. But as time goes on, they realize that's probably not really the case, and they reach that conclusion, like I mentioned before. It talks about how Visick will become a very different and mature character, more mature than even his brothers, and that basically his storyline is going to have a very dark yet triumphant kind of wrapping, you know, and that he's going to do some things that he might not want to do, but it's kind of an ends to a means kind of deal. And basically when it comes to Uba is going to be basically traveling to Iceland. He's going to meet this wanderer, and the wanderer is going to tell him about this land which he saw. He wasn't able to really get to the land due to the sea storms, but that he saw it. So this is going to make Ube really curious, the explorer side of his father, and that he's going to really obsess over this land. And that's going to be like his mission of his life, and that he's willing to die to find this fabled land for his people and also for his own little fame. And speaking of fame, it talks about how Ube and Bjorn are going to kind of bump heads a bit, because Ube and Bjorn are both going to see themselves as the true heirs of Ragnar, but they're going to approach it in a different manner. So I'm interested to see how that's going to go about. So in returns, when it comes to Ivar, we already know Ivar's going to go to Russia. We already know he's going to have some type of strong, interesting relationship / friendship. Well, not relationship, like friendship with the prince of the Rus Vikings. But Hirst said something interesting about Ivar's character deepening. That he heard some people talk about how they feel as though Ivar is like a two-dimensional character now, which he's not really interesting. He has no secrets left, and he's kind of repetitive. But Hirst says that in season 6 you're going to see Ivar's character, despite still being unpredictable and cruel, you're going to see his character deepen and show different characteristics that you're not used to seeing or haven't seen at all yet so far. So he's basically saying that Ivar is going to wow some people, that this is going to be Ivar's season, essentially, for season 6. And I'm looking forward to it, because he's one of my favorite characters, despite him being a homicidal maniac. But yeah, what do you guys think about what I just said? Write your comments down below. This is Josh Vision. Adios.